Diplomacy is hard work by serious people.
Law schools for people who are boring and ugly and serious. You button none of those things.
Now the story of two cousins studying abroad, and the one vlog that had no choice but to keep them all together. It's Cousinhood 2.0.
This video is going to be slightly political in nature. I apologize in advance, especially because my political ideas aren't very refined. One thing I hate, this is just ridiculous, okay? This is ridiculous. Like, the vice presidential debate, so apparently Sarah Palin didn't make a complete idiot of herself. I don't know how that translates over to, you know, a bunch of headlines. Like, Sarah Palin doesn't make an idiot of herself. Oh my gosh. So, all the headlines are like, one second. I'm upset. Oh, no fatal slips. That's the headline from the debate. She made no fatal slips. Oh my gosh, since when is this newsworthy? Since when is the only qualification for being an effective leader not making a complete idiot of yourself?
And I'll say fuck Bush and fuck this war.
No, the reason this really bothered me more than anything else was that no fatal slips, excuse me, because I considered her interview with Kirk to be the fatal slip, to be like the be-all end-all of fatal slips when she couldn't name a newspaper that she'd read.
And when it comes to establishing your worldview, I was curious, what newspapers and magazines did you regularly read before you were tapped for this to stay informed and to understand the world?
I've read most of them, again, with a great appreciation for the press, for the media.
But like, what one specifically, I'm curious that you...
all of them, any of them.
She already made the biggest idiot of herself. She's done. There should be no more discussion about her. Everyone should realize that this is just ridiculous. She is not qualified in the slightest.
You know, I think a good barometer here as we try to figure out, has this been a good time or a bad time in America's economy, is go to a kid's soccer game on Saturday and turn to any parent there on the sideline and ask them, how are you feeling about the economy? And I'll bet you're going to hear some fear in that parent's voice.
A soccer game. That is honestly what you think the best measure of how well the economy is doing is, going to a soccer game. I mean, I know you're just trying to play up the cutesy thing. I just don't understand this portion of the electorate who this appeals to. Like, it appeals to you when a leader says, I think I'm going to measure the economy by going to a soccer game. Like, who thinks like that? No, I want to measure the economy by seeing how well the stock market's doing, seeing how well, you know, some figures, some facts and figures, not by going to something as nebulous as a soccer game and talking to people.
This universal government-run program, and unless you're pleased with the way that the federal government has been running anything lately, I don't think that it's going to be real pleasing for Americans to consider health care being taken over by the feds.
Sarah Palin completely ignored the distinction between the concept of government and the administration for the past 8 years, because she was talking about how, you know, we don't want more government getting involved in our lives after look what happened with the economic crisis. It's like, okay, that's not because of the concept of government, that's just because of the way our government has been carried out over the last 8 years. And this stems from her whole refusing to acknowledge the existence of the Bush administration in general. And she'd always just be like, what are you talking about? There was a Bush administration. I've never heard of such a thing.
Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards again, though. You prefaced your whole comment with the Bush administration. Now, doggone it.
Forgive me, Mrs. Palin, but it seems to me that when cornered, you become increasingly adorable. Is that fair to say? I don't know.